Elementary kids and families, we're so excited you've joined us for another weekend online. This month in elementary, we're learning about faith, trusting what you can't see because of what you can see. We're eager to learn with you this morning through our video teaching, through singing songs of praise, and by checking out the parent guides on the Family Ministry app or our Cornerstone Kids Facebook page. This morning, we're going to start with worship, so get up on your feet and get ready to praise God.
Jesus is my hero. Jesus is my friend. He made a difference in the world, and I wanna be like him. 'Cause I have 2 hands and feet and a heart that beats. I'm gonna use what I have to make a difference. It wasn't about what he could get. He was all in so he could give. And oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Yeah. Jesus is our Savior. He's the King of the world. And still he came to the earth just so he could serve. He had 2 hands and feet and a heart that beats. He used all he had to make a difference. Jesus always put others first. That's a lesson for us that we should learn. And oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Yeah. Oh, 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 I really, really wanna be, just like Jesus. Yeah, I really, really wanna be, just like Jesus. Oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. And oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Oh, I wanna be, I really wanna be, oh, 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 I wanna be like Jesus. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us with worship today. Now it's time for our story.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. Now, for an amazing story inspired by the book of Acts, chapter 17, verses 16 through 34.
Wherever Paul went, he boldly preached the good news of Jesus.
This Jesus I'm telling you about is the Messiah.
Many Jews and Greeks believed in Jesus, but in nearly every town, a group of Jews would gather to oppose Paul. He and his companions were forced out of Thessalonica, and then later that same group of Jews followed to run Paul out of Berea. Eventually, the believers helped Paul escape to the coast, where he could travel by boat to Athens.
Tell Silas and Timothy to join me as soon as they can.
Once Paul reached Athens, he walked the streets of the ancient city, disturbed by what he saw. Carved and molded statues everywhere.
Statues of their gods. The people really believe false gods can help them.
In fact, the Athenians believed in around 30,000 false gods. Yeah, they believed these gods were in charge of everything from sports to sleep to doors and cleanliness.
A god of grapes. Okay.
While Paul waited for his friends, he visited the Jewish synagogue to tell Jews and Greeks alike about Jesus. And in the marketplace, he spoke to anybody who would listen.
You have to hear about Jesus. He was killed, but he came back to life.
Paul's words stirred up a group of Athenian thinkers. These men felt that they could achieve perfection through knowledge and wisdom.
Can you explain what this fellow is chattering about?
He seems to be telling us about gods we've never heard of.
We shall take this Paul to a meeting of the Areopagus. There, we shall reason it out.
Set high on an outcropping of rock, the Areopagus was the high court of Athens. And from this viewpoint, Paul could see all of Athens spread out below him. Closer at hand, the gathered Epicureans and Stoics studied Paul.
What is this new teaching you're giving us?
You have some strange ideas we've never heard before.
We would like to know what they mean.
Paul took a deep breath. These people treated new ideas like playthings, so he wanted to connect the story of Jesus with something they already knew.
People of Athens, I see that you are very religious in every way.
We are aware of this. Please proceed.
Paul recalled a small carved altar he had discovered while exploring the city.
As I walked around, I looked carefully at the things you worship. I even found an altar with "To an unknown God" written on it. Now, I'm going to tell you about this unknown God.
Paul explained to them that the true God created the entire world and everything in it. He created each individual person with a purpose and an adventure to live.
He did it so that people would seek him and find him, even though he is not far from any of us.
Preposterous.
Continue.
Paul knew that these Athenians might listen to the words of their own writers that might actually reflect something of who God is.
In him we live and move and exist. As some of your own poets have also said, we are his children.
An interesting point.
Paul told them that people are God's children. God is alive and real, not some carved statue or molded from gold. And now by sending Jesus, God was telling everyone everywhere to turn away from the bad things they've done and to follow him.
God has proved this to everyone by raising Jesus from the dead.
Preposterous.
Fascinating.
More like fantasy. Get this joker out of here.
No. This is new, fresh. We will hear you speak about this again sometime.
A man called Dionysius had been among the crowd at the Areopagus. He hurried to catch up as Paul left.
I want to know more about this living God, about Jesus.
I can help you, friend.
So Paul continued to spread the good news and love of Jesus, and after a short time, Dionysius became a follower of Jesus, as well as a woman named Damaris and several others.
So just like what Miss Brittany said today, that video has to do with faith and having faith in Jesus. And that's exactly what our Bible verse is talking about for this month too. It comes from Hebrews 11. It says this: faith is being sure of what we hope for. It is being sure of what we do not see. Hebrews 11:1. So as we talk about faith and what that means in our lives, we hope that you'll go to our Glide app, our family ministry app, and look at those discussion questions and just talk with your friends, your family, whoever's there at your house with you this month, and just really talk about how we can believe in Jesus, believe in God, even when we can't see him. Have an awesome week, and we'll see you the next one.